And now we're joined by SBJ baseball reporter Mike Mazzio, who is here to talk all things World Series and baseball offseason. Mike, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Mike, you were at all five games of the World Series. I was at game five, but just as a fan, what do you think of the viewership?
Yeah, Molly, I think you talked to Fox for your newsletter. They seemed really happy with everything. Obviously, I think they hoped they would go back to LA and then maybe you would get a 20 million, maybe in a game seven if, Ohtani had faced Aaron Judge somehow. I mean, you could have peaked at 30, 35 maybe. So to hit about 16 was pretty darn good for them. It was a nice tap to what's been an incredible couple of years for them from the World Baseball Classic to back-to-back years of attendance rises, TV viewership up. And I think the biggest number, even more so than the US numbers, was the Japanese numbers. I think it was around 12 million. And you just saw from the Seoul series through with Yamamoto, Ohtani. I mean, the frenzy around those guys was unbelievable, even in the World Series when they showed, fans in Tokyo watching these games in the morning at the bars and going crazy. So yeah, I think it was super successful. They certainly have a lot of questions down the road, but I think it was a really nice week and a half celebration for baseball, what we got from this World Series with the two mega markets and the star power involved.
I'll be honest, Mike, I thought the numbers would be just slightly higher. You have to characterize it as a win for Fox Sports and Major League Baseball, first off. But I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm watching that game one. You're getting extra innings, you're getting a Freddie Freeman walk-off home run. I'm texting somebody that this should be this number, and it didn't quite get to that. You didn't cross 20 million until you hit that game five. I do agree that if that goes back to Los Angeles for game six, you're crossing 20 million easily. And if you can give a narrative of the Yankees coming back from down 3-0 to a game seven, yeah, I think you have crossed over into something different in the U.S. zeitgeist. You can approach a 30 million number with a game seven like that. Obviously, that's all hypothetical. Ended with game five, got to around 18 million viewers, but none of these games crossed 20 million. I thought game five could have. When you combine a Spanish audience, you get an even better number. That was one of the things that was more telling for me, is like there was a really strong Hispanic audience for this World Series, and it's something that Major League Baseball and Fox with Fox Deportes, and you saw them incorporating Univision for that game one telecast, something that they tried during the LCS as well. There is just a really large growing fan base, Hispanic fan base, that is watching MLB postseason games.
I totally agree with you, Austin, on the Hispanic numbers, super really strong. It just goes back to the Yankees having a 3-2 lead in game one and then the 5-run lead in game five. I mean, if that goes the opposite way, like you said, you get to a 20 million number in a game six and then maybe a 30 million number in a game seven and hit what many people thought, whether it was 20 or 20 and a half or the numbers we had heard of projections if everything went well. Unfortunately, the Yankees couldn't hold those leads for MLB and the Fox TV network. And that's where we're at, where, like you said, you get a pretty darn good number, but maybe not what you were hoping for in terms of hitting that 20 million average number.
Listen, I went to high school in Atlanta when the Braves were not good, so I went to 20, 30 Braves games a summer. Love Freddie Freeman. Hate him now.